In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and merciful, I welcome you all in today's session. Today we are going to talk about organizational development, and we'll be looking at its different aspects, that how organizations can materialize their development through the support of OD practitioners and OD consultants. And we would also look at the role of the OD practitioner, and we'll be looking at the competencies required by the OD practitioner. Along with that, we'll be talking about different research context related to organizational development and the models associated with this theoretical elaboration. So we start with the basic definition of organizational development. And this definition is given by Burks. According to the model, as presented by this author, that OD is planned process of change in an organization's culture through the utilization of behavioral science, technology, research, and theory. Another definition is given by French, and according to French, OD refers to a long-range effort to improve an organization's problem-solving capabilities and its ability to cope with changes in its external environment with the help of external or internal behavioral scientists or consultants. In this particular definition, one expression is very important, and that is organization's problem-solving capabilities. That through this organizational development support, we want to bring in the organization the capability that it should be able to sustain itself, and it should be able to minimize its problems through self-renewal capability. So that is very important expression that we need to talk about when we discuss organizational development. And again, as we are referring to this definition, the change aspect of organizational development is obviously linked with the transition and the transformation, and both the aspects are counted, because in terms of transition, we are concerned with the time, and in terms of transformation, we are concerned with the change. So all these things are important when we are discussing the concept of organizational development. Beckhardt definition of OD is also very important. And according to Beckhardt, organizational development is an effort which is planned, number one. Number two, it's organization wide. And number three, it is managed from the top. Okay, now this is another new expression which Beckhardt has given us, that is, it is managed from the top. And number four, it is meant to increase organization effectiveness and health through, number five, planned interventions in the organization's processes using behavioral science and knowledge. If we look at the Beard's definition of organization development, this is rather more comprehensive expression, and it says that organization development is a system-wide process of data collection, diagnosis, action planning, intervention, and evaluation Okay, these are the steps that we are going to adopt when we are going to talk about organization development. I repeat again, organization development is a system-wide process. And by the expression process, it means to say that it is not one-time event activity. This is a continued phenomena. Okay, so organization development is a system-wide process of data collection, diagnosis, action planning, intervention, and evaluation. And in our course of time, we'll be also talking about and elaborating Beer's concern of elaboration related to the process description, in which data collection, diagnosis, action planning, intervention, and evaluation would be the most important steps when we think and talk about organization development. And all of these aspects would be aiming at, number one, enhancing congruence between organizational structure, process, strategy, people, and culture. These are going to be the design parameters as well when we talk about organizational concern. And number two, developing new and creative organizational solutions. And number three, developing the organization's self-renewing capacity. Okay, so that is again very important expression, that OD is there to develop the organization's self-renewing capacity. It occurs through collaboration of organizational members working with a change agent using behavioral science theory, research, and technology. So I personally like this definition the most because it is very comprehensive and it is covering almost all the scopes of organization development concern. Now, if we summarize all these definitions into one expression, so the bottom line can be that organization development is a system-wide application and transfer of behavioral science knowledge to the planned development, improvement, and reinforcement of the strategies, structures, and processes that lead to organization effectiveness. There is a general model of organization development, which is now referring us towards the general model of planned change as well, as change is the major aspect of development. And this general model is basically starting from entering and contracting, then diagnosing, then planning and implementing change, and then moving towards evaluation and institutionalizing change. We have to bear in mind that the first step, which is entering and contracting, is rather most crucial. Reason being that for the OD consultants and OD practitioners, unless and until they don't win the favors and they don't win the consent of the client, the organizational member, it would not be possible to bring in a change. So for the OD consultant and OD practitioner, this entering and contracting is rather the most crucial point, because this is the point where he has or she has to sell her or his capabilities, competencies, experience to the client so that the contract is taking place and the OD practitioner would be allowed to diagnose the organization. And based upon that diagnosis, the planned interventions would be created. And based upon those planned interventions, implementations would be taking place. And at the end, we have to talk about the evaluation, the outcomes of the whole effort. And then we have to institutionalize the change over there as well, so that the change should not be reverting back. At the same time, there are certain critics of planned change. And if we talk about those critical aspects related to the planned change, the first expression evolving is talking about conceptualization of planned change. And in that conceptualization, it is said that change is not linear. Okay, generally speaking, we can draw a straight line of movement from unfreezing to refreezing, and we can say that that is the change process. But in reality, the change is not that smooth. The change is not that linear. There are many ups and downs. There are many restrictions, resistances, conditions, constraints which are faced by the organization. The second expression is that sometimes even change, we are talking about the planned change, and it is said at the same time that change is not rational. Okay, reason being कि couple of times ऐसा भी होता है कि change एक process initiate हो जाता है और वो change हमारे logical और लॉजिकल एक्सप्लेनेशंस में मौजूद नहीं होता, उसकी हमारे पास रैशनैलिटी नहीं होती. दैट इज परहैप्स द चेंज व्हिच इज इनएविटेबल, दैट इज परहैप्स द चेंज व्हिच इज टेकिंग प्लेस ओवर देयर in an evolutionary fashion, and sometimes many things are not in our control as well. So that is another expression that the change is not that linear and the change is not always that rational, and the relationship between change and performance is even not clear. Because couple of times we take the effort, we bring in a change, लेकिन उससे related जो performance expected होती है वो नहीं मिल पाती. And on the other side, sometimes we are not bringing in any change and the performance results are good. Okay, so हम इसके दरमियान भी change and performance के दरमियान भी कोई short एक relationship develop नहीं कर सकते, either directly proportional or inversely proportional. So ये कुछ ऐसे evidences हैं जिन evidences की रोशनी में planned change वो बहुत ज़्यादा criticism का शिकार हुआ, और sometimes even we came up with the idea कि शायद plan change हमें करना ही नहीं चाहिए. At the same time, in our discussion, we'll be talking about different research articles, and I'll be telling you that many a times change efforts were failed as well. अब उसकी बहुत सारी reasons थी, उसकी बहुत सारे मसाइल थे जिनकी वजह से change effort जो है वो failure का शिकार भी हुए, लेकिन that does not mean that we stop planning. Because planning is something which gives us the room for, you know, our safe side, to create our safe side, and the planning is something which gives us the buffer जिससे कि हम अपने आप को risk से वो बचा सकते हैं. So planning is always there, लेकिन उस planning के obviously execution के दौरान issues और मसाइल का सामना वो हो सकता है. So another expression, जब हम planned change की बात करते हैं, it is talking about the practice of planned change, and the points I have are: number one, limited consulting skills and focus, because sometimes when the OD practitioner or OD consultant is involved in the change, that change would come up with much more complications as compared to the skills and the focus of the consultant. Okay, so कॉम्प्लिकेशंस और इश्यूज हमारे सामने डेफिनेटली वो आ जाते हैं. इसकी एग्जांपल यूजुअली जो हम डिस्कस करते हैं वो बिल्कुल ऐसी ही है कि देयर इज अ पेशेंट विद अ ट्यूमर एंड द डॉक्टर इज रेडी फॉर द सर्जरी, लेकिन जब वो ट्यूमर को ओपन करते हैं तो दे कम टू नो कि उस ट्यूमर की जो रूट्स हैं वो कहां तक गई हुई हैं और उसमें क्या क्या कॉम्प्लिकेशंस वो इन्वॉल्व हो चुकी हुई हैं. तो कपल ऑफ टाइम्स ऐसा होता है कि हमारे सामने चूंकि मुकम्मल पिक्चर वो डिस्प्ले पर नहीं होती, तो हम उस पिक्चर से रिलेटेड जो कॉम्प्लिकेशंस हैं उनको नहीं जान पाते. सो उससे बाज़ औक़ात में हमारे लिए कॉम्प्लिकेशंस, बाज़ औक़ात हमारे लिए चैलेंजेस वो क्रिएट हो जाते हैं. Another expression that is discussed in relation with the planned change is talking about the quick fixes versus development approach. कि organizations भी बाज़ औक़ात ये चाह रही होती हैं कि टाइम और रिसोर्सेज की कमी की वजह से they don't want to prolong a change process, so they intend to go for quick fixes कि एकदम से उनका जो वक्ती मसला है वो हल हो जाए, और उसके बाद with the passage of time वो देखते रहेंगे कि किस तरीके से उन्होंने अपने आप को फर्दर सस्टेनेबल बनाना है. लेकिन उससे होता यह है कि वो क्विक फिक्सेस आपको लॉन्ग टर्म सर्वाइवल वो शायद प्रोवाइड नहीं कर पाते, और कुछ ही अरसे के बाद मसाइल दोबारा से नमूदार हो जाते हैं और दोबारा से फिर आप क्विक फिक्सेस की तरफ वो चले जाते हो. जिसके बरक्स जो थ्योरेटिकल पर्सपेक्टिव है रिलेटेड टू द प्लान चेंज, उसका कहना यह है कि आपका चेंज प्रोसेस वुड टेक अ लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम फॉर अ लॉन्गर ड्यूरेशन ऑफ सस्टेनेबिलिटी एंड रिटर्न्स. ओके सो ये एक डिस्कशन हमारी नो डाउट एक नेवर एंडिंग डिस्कशन है जिसके ऊपर विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम हम सर्टेन एविडेंसेस वो क्रिएट करते हैं, जिन एविडेंसेस की रोशनी में वी कम टू नो दैट व्हिच प्रोसेस इज द राइट प्रोसेस. Now supposedly that if the client, over here the client means the organizational setup, the person who is representing the organization, supposedly that the client is facing certain issues and problems related to his or her particular organizational setup, and a consultant approaches to that client. So शुरू में उन दोनों का जो नॉलेज है उसकी कैफियत क्या होगी, उस चीज को यहां पर एक ग्राफिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन से वो शो किया जा रहा है. सबसे पहले we'll be starting from the bottom of the slide, and it says कि in the start जब हम entering and contracting stage पर होते हैं, so the client's knowledge and expertise and the experience about that issue and about that organization is obviously the maximum, and the consultant is no voice, the consultant is new to that place, and the consultant may not be knowing the deeper implications related to that organization. So the situation would be that the consultant may not be able to win the contract with the client. Okay, so the outcome of that situation would be written on the bottom of the slide on the right side, and it says that the client refuses to become involved. Okay, because consultant is not able to comprehend the problem in detail, or the consultant is not aware about that particular industry or particular organizational setup, and the consultant is not having even much experience कि जिसके साथ वो एक win-win relationship में आ सके. So what would happen, that the consultant would lose the ground and the client would refuse to become involved. Lekin supposedly if the consultant is having the right set of competencies and right set of skills, and the consultant is the consultant has done his homework properly, so उससे client के साथ उसकी negotiation वो बेहतर अंदाज में हो पाती है, और जब client के साथ उसकी negotiation बेहतर अंदाज में हो पाएगी तो वहां से हम next phase में involve हो जाएंगे, जहां पर हम जिक्र कर रहे हैं that the client would be ready to listen and reflect. Okay, based upon the consultant's situation handling and based upon the consultant's knowledge. अब यहां पर जो consultant की competencies हैं, they are very important. Let me show you a list of competencies related to a consultant, जहां से हमें अंदाजा होना शुरू होगा कि कंसल्टेंट के पास किस किस्म का नॉलेज होना चाहिए जब वो अपने आप को एक ओडी प्रैक्टिशनर और ओडी कंसल्टेंट वो कहला रहा है. So for that particular matter, I have to turn off my slides, and I'm taking you and referring you to a document. Okay, now we are looking at the 20th edition of the Organization Change and Development Competency Effort. Okay, so Ronald and his group developed a list of competencies required by the organization development practitioner, and we'll be looking at the detail of these competencies, and we'll be finding out that what sort of background a consultant needs to have before that person claims to be a consultant or be a practitioner in industrial perspective. So they have grouped the competencies in different aspects, in different domains. For example, we are looking at the marketing related competencies, and it is said that an effective organization development practitioner can, number one, be aware of systems wanting to change. Number two, be known to those needing you. Number three, that means the point number two would mean that you have your established credibility. Number three, match skills with potential client profile. Number four, convey qualifications in a credible manner. Number five, quickly grasp the nature of the system. Number six, determine appropriate decision makers. And Number 7, determine appropriate processes. Okay. Over here, we are not concerned with the marketing of an organization. We are talking about the marketing of the OD practitioners. Okay. So how and what and when the OD practitioner can market him or herself. As I said, that they have to sell their competencies to the client. Okay. So the second set of competencies which the OD practitioner should be having is related to enrolling. And it is said that an effective organization development practitioner can build trusting relationships. Number 2, present the theoretical foundations of change. Number next is deal effectively with resistance, help the client trust the process, help the client manage emotionally charged feelings, and obviously collaboratively design the change process. Okay, unless and until OD practitioner के पास ये सब enrolling capabilities नहीं होंगी, तो it will be difficult to negotiate with the client for the consultation. Likewise, there are certain competencies required in contracting part, and in contracting concern, it is said that the consultant is able to contract psychologically for collaboration, help the client reflect on motivation, clarify outcomes, build realistic expectations, conduct a mini assessment, जिसको हम proposal की शक्ल में अभी go through करेंगे, identify the boundary of systems to be changed, articulate an initial change process to use, explicate ethical boundaries, confirm commitment of resources, and so on. इसी तरह अगर मैं इस लिस्ट को कुछ ब्राउज करता जाऊं, तो अब कंसल्टेंट के पास मिनी असेसमेंट विच इज बेसिकली द प्रपोजल, उसको डेवलप करने की कैपेबिलिटी भी होनी चाहिए. कंसल्टेंट के पास डेटा गैदरिंग का कंप्लीट नॉलेज भी होना चाहिए कि किस तरीके से उसने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को इन्वेस्टिगेट करना है और किस तरीके से उसने डेटा कलेक्ट करना है रिलेटेड टू द कंसर्न प्रॉब्लम. फिर कंसल्टेंट के पास डायग्नोसिस कैपेबिलिटीज भी होनी चाहिए कि वो उस प्रॉब्लम को सही तौर पर डायग्नोज वो कर सके, बिकॉज सही डायग्नोज करने से हमारा मेजर पार्ट ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम वो हल हो जाता है. ओके, हमारा बहुत बड़ा डिलेमा ये है कि हम अक्सर औकात प्रॉब्लम को प्रॉपरली डायग्नोज ही नहीं कर पाते, बिकॉज वंस द प्रॉब्लम इज डायग्नोज तो फिर सोल्यूशन एंड प्रिस्क्रिप्शन पर पहुंचना हमारे लिए रिलेटिवली आसान हो जाता है. So the consultant should have the capability of diagnosis. The consultant should have the capability of providing the right feedback to the client and the sponsors. The consultant should have the capability of planning, of participation. The consultant should have the capability of developing the appropriate interventions. अभी इन तमाम points को हम अपने slide work में भी go through करेंगे कि what do we mean by diagnosis, what do we mean by interventions. लेकिन फिल वक्त आपको मैं list of competencies दिखा रहा हूँ which are sorted out कि एक OD practitioner के पास इन competencies का होना जरूरी है before they come up with the right hit. So a consultant इंटरवेंशन पॉइंट्स आइडेंटिफाई भी कर सके और इंटरवेंशंस को क्रिएट भी कर सके. एक कंसल्टेंट के पास इवैल्यूएशन कैपेबिलिटी भी हो कि वो किस कदर चेंज वहां पर ला चुका है और किस कदर फर्दर चेंज की जरूरत है. फिर एक कंसल्टेंट के पास फॉलो अप कैपेबिलिटी हो, एक कंसल्टेंट के पास एडॉप्शन कैपेबिलिटी हो कि नए तकाजों के मुताबिक, नई रिक्वायरमेंट्स के मुताबिक मॉडर्नाइजेशन, अपग्रेडेशन, इन तमाम चीजों को वो किस तरीके से ब्रूए कार लाता है, वो ओल्ड बिहेवियर्स को न्यू पैटर्न्स में कन्वर्ट कैसे कर पाता है. तो इस अडॉप्शन के बारे में भी नॉलेज कंसल्टेंट के पास होना जरूरी है. देन द कंसल्टेंट शुड बी एबल टू सेपरेट हिमसेल्फ फ्रॉम द चेंज एज वेल. ये कंसल्टेंट के हवाले से कोई बाज़ औक़ात एक डिलेमा भी बन जाता है कि कंसल्टेंट्स बाज़ औक़ात अपने आप को जरूरत से ज्यादा एसोसिएट कर लेते हैं विद द प्रॉब्लम और विद द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. तो दैट इज अगेन द फॉल्ट. द कंसल्टेंट शुड बी एबल टू सेपरेट हिमसेल्फ फ्रॉम द क्लाइंट सिचुएशन. जब उसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पूरा हो जाता है तो द प्रोसेस एंड्स देयर. ओके, एंड उसके लिए जैसे अब यहां पर पॉइंट्स लिखे हुए हैं कि रिकॉग्नाइज व्हेन सेपरेशन इज डिजायरेबल, प्रोसेस एनी लेफ्ट ओवर रिलेशनशिप issues between consultant and client, ensure that learning will continue, leave the client satisfied, plan for post consultation contact and so on. तो ये तमाम चीजें हमें separation के हवाले से वो required होंगी. इसी तरह the consultant should be having the right capabilities, right competencies related to the self awareness, जिससे कि उसकी emotional जो intelligence है वो भी evaluate हो रही होगी. So clarify personal values, clarify personal boundaries, manage personal biases, manage personal defensiveness. तो ये तमाम वो एस्पेक्ट्स हैं जो ओडी प्रैक्टिशनर के पास एज कंपिटेंसीज वो होनी चाहिए. Likewise, interpersonal aspects के हवाले से भी he or she should be able to develop mutually trusting relationship with others, solicit feedback from others about your impact on them, energize others. तो ये तमाम interpersonal aspects हैं जिनके हवाले से OD practitioner is supposed to be equipped. Likewise, there are some other competencies as well जिन के बारे में उसका कहना यह है कि इंटरप्रेट क्रॉस कल्चरल इन्फ्लुएंसेस इन ए हेल्पफुल मैनर, हैंडल डाइवर्सिटी एंड डाइवर्स सिचुएशंस स्किलफुली, कम्युनिकेट डायरेक्शंस क्लियरली टू लार्ज ग्रुप्स एंड सो ऑन. सो देयर आर अबाउट 141 competencies एस्टिमेटेड, जिन 141 competencies के साथ a consultant would be ready कि जिसके बाद वो क्लाइंट के साथ नेगोशिएशन कर रहा है और एंटरिंग एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग स्टेज के ऊपर वो विन विन सिचुएशन को कॉल कर सकेगा. सो नो डाउट कई हवालों से कंसल्टेंट वुड बी एंगेज्ड विद द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. यहां पर हम लिस्ट ऑफ कॉम्पिटेंसीज को ऑफ कर रहे हैं एंड आई एम टेकिंग बैक यू to the slides. हमारा जो point in the discussion था कि in the start when the client and consultant started discussing the point and the problem with one another, तो हम assume ये करते हैं कि the client started listening because the consultant is capable enough. So जब client listen करना शुरू करता है तो कंसल्टेंट के पास एक रूम क्रिएट हो जाता है जिसमें के वो अपनी विन विन सिचुएशन को एक फाइनलाइज्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अंदर कन्वर्ट वो कर पाएगा. सो द नेक्स्ट स्टेप वुड बी, जब कंसल्टेंट इन्वॉल्व होना शुरू हो गया, कि द कंसल्टेंट वुड बी एबल टू क्लैरिफाई एंड इंटरप्रेट द इश्यूज रिलेटेड विद द क्लाइंट, और वो आइडियाज देना शुरू कर देता है कि किन किन आइडियाज के जरिए एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल सेटअप को इंप्रूव, डेवलप, सस्टेनेबल वो बनाया जा सकता है. विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम व्हेन द फर्दर नेगोशिएशन इज कैरीड ऑन, तो वहां से आहिस्ता आहिस्ता द क्लाइंट पर्सपेक्टिव, द पार्ट ऑफ द क्लाइंट नॉलेज इज गेटिंग रिड्यूस्ड एंड द पोर्शन ऑफ द कंसल्टेंट नॉलेज इज गेटिंग एन इंक्रीज, बिकॉज अब कंसल्टेंट उन चीजों को रूटीन मैटर्स की बजाय कंसल्टेंसी के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में वो पिक कर रहा है और वो उनको टेक्निकल ग्राउंड्स के ऊपर एस्टैब्लिश करना शुरू कर देता है. एंड मेनी अ टाइम्स द क्लाइंट्स आर नॉट मेकिंग द थिंग्स दैट टेक्निकल, बिकॉज क्लाइंट के लिए जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के मसाइल होते हैं वो रोजमर्रा की रूटीन की तरह के होते हैं, और अक्सर औकात क्लाइंट्स उन चीजों के बारे में उतने ज्यादा फॉर्मल नहीं होते, उतने ज्यादा स्पेसिफिक नहीं होते जितना ज्यादा फॉर्मल एंड स्पेसिफिक अ कंसल्टेंट वुड बी ट्राइंग टू बिकम. So what would happen that with the passage of time, the consultant would be asking further questions, would be investigating the organizational setup, would be gathering the data, और जब वो specific data gather करना शुरू कर देता है तो उसके पास knowledge base as compared to the routine experience based knowledge of client वो ज्यादा हो जाता है. फिर वो उस knowledge के ऊपर feedback provide करता है, फिर वो with the passage of time different parameters propose करता है, जिन parameters के साथ, जिन interventions के साथ उसने client के उन issues को resolve करना है. then वो उनको recommendations देगा, prescriptions देगा कि किस किस aspect से, किस किस intervention को use करने से client के मसाइल वो हल होंगे. and then obviously the consultant would be having the maximum power when he or she would be implementing those plans. And then obviously that power is limited related to the problem specification only. Okay, ये सारी कहानी अगेन मैं रेफर करना चाहूंगा एक फिजिशियन की एग्जांपल से. ये बिल्कुल इसी तरह ही है कि supposedly if you are having headache and you go to a doctor, okay, so the problem is yours, okay, the pain is felt by yourself, okay, but the doctor is able to diagnose your pain for you, right? And with the passage of time, although the pain belongs to you, but the doctor would be able to diagnose the pain accurately and would be able to prescribe a specific medicine for you. Okay, so at that particular time, when the doctor has diagnosed the problem, when the doctor has seen all the tests, when the doctor has interpreted your explanations, the knowledge of the doctor related to your pain is obviously more than your knowledge about the pain, although you yourself is feeling that pain. ओके तो बिल्कुल इसी तरह का ही फिनोमिना क्लाइंट और कंसल्टेंट के दरमियान वो सेटल हो पाता है कि जहां पर विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम द कंसल्टेंट is able to have more in-depth information and knowledge about that issue related to the client facility. Now, supposedly that the contract has taken place, the client is agreeing upon the suggestions and the proposals of the consultant कि okay, you can start up the change process. तो अब हमें उस चेंज और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डेवलपमेंट के कुछ स्टेप्स एंड प्रोसीजर्स को देखना है कि किन किन हवालों से अब वो चेंज इनकॉर्पोरेट वो होगा. सबसे पहले हम सिस्टमैटिक इंटर लेवल चेंज का एक फ्लो शीट वो देख रहे हैं. इस फ्लो शीट में हमें यह बात वाजिया हो रही है कि द चेंज इज नॉट ऑलवेज at a holistic fashion. Sometimes the change may start from an individual. The change may start from interdepartmental or group level aspect. The change may start from the team orientation. The change may take place organization wide as well. So when we look at the systematic inter-level change, we come to know that there are different levels, and every level would have its own requisitions, would have its own pros and cons, would have its own challenges and resistances, would have its own magnitude related to the change process. Okay, so remember that when we are focusing upon the change, we can discuss that what level of change we are going to investigate. All the levels, either individual level or interdepartmental group level or team level or organizational level, would undergo certain phases of change. And these phases are actually very interesting to witness. If we look at any of these boxes, either at individual level or organizational level or team level or interdepartmental group level, the basic phases are the same. And the basic phases are starting from a very interesting expression, which is denying. Okay, because we talked about this phenomena in the change management discussion, and we said that change is always accompanied by the resistance. Okay, तो जब कभी भी आप किसी तब्दीली की बात करोगे तो उसमें जो सबसे पहला एक्सप्रेशन हमारे सामने आता है, that is obviously the denying, because status quo को चैलेंज करना वो एक डिफिकल्ट फिनोमिना है. वहां पर जो रेजिस्टेंसेस ऑलरेडी क्रिएटेड हैं उनको ओवरकम करना, अपनी ड्राइविंग फोर्सेस को रेजिस्टेंस से इंक्रीज करना इज ऑब्वियसली अ चैलेंजिंग फिनोमिना. सो हर एक लेवल के ऊपर, चाहे वो इंडिविजुअल लेवल हो, वो टीम लेवल हो, वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लेवल हो, वो इंटर डिपार्टमेंटल ग्रुप लेवल हो, हमारा स्टार्टिंग जो फेज होगा दैट इज रिलेटेड विद द वर्ड डिनाइंग. वंस वी आर एबल टू ओवरकम दिस डिनाइंग पार्ट, हम उसकी विल को जब इनकॉर्पोरेट कर लेते हैं, to the next step, the next expected step is rather more interesting, and it is dodging. Okay, because again, the phenomena would be that people would be looking at the outcomes, the people would be looking at short-term wins, the people would be looking at escapes, that how can they avoid that process of change, because as I told you earlier that everybody likes change but nobody likes the process of change. तो उस प्रोसेस ऑफ चेंज को अवॉइड करने के लिए द पीपल वुड बी देयर टू गो फॉर डॉजिंग. एंड वंस वी आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड देयर डॉजिंग, ओके, सो उसके बाद जो फिनोमेना शुरू होगा दैट वुड बी इन्वॉल्विंग देम इन डूइंग, एंड वंस दे हैव स्टार्टेड डूइंग, तो देन वी हैव टू लीड देम टुवर्ड्स द सस्टेनिंग. ओके, सो ये हमारे पास 4 फेजेस इंटर लेवल डिस्कशंस के अंदर डिस्कस की जाती हैं, जिसमें कि डिनाइंग, डॉजिंग, डूइंग एंड देन ऑब्वियसली मूविंग टुवर्ड्स सस्टेनिंग. इन चीजों के बारे में इनकॉर्पोरेट करना चेंज को वो जरूरी है. अब ओडी प्रैक्टिशनर की अगेन कंपिटेंसीज बेकार आएंगी, और ओडी प्रैक्टिशनर इस बात को इंश्योर कर पाएगा कि वो किस कदर इन फेजेस को एफिशिएंटली एंड इफेक्टिवली वो ओवरकम कर पाता है. Now, there are certain important expressions which I have sorted out for you. no doubt there is a lot of material on the slide. Like I want you to read this with me, because every word I have picked in this particular slide is like important for you to understand the whole phenomena of change process. It says that if we want to go for micro level detail and focus, then we develop process interventions in terms of individual